Welcome to the Directors Club podcast, your go-to resource for child care center owners and directors seeking success at their centers. Each week, we dive into the world of child care management, sharing valuable tips, tools, resources, and strategies to help you build enrollment, retain top teachers, and streamline your operations. With a casual and lighthearted approach, we tackle the challenges you face from staffing and enrollment to business skills and time management. Join us as we unlock the secrets to creating a thriving child care center. Let's laugh, learn, and grow together. This is the Directors Club podcast. Welcome to Season 2 of the Directors Club podcast, exclusively for child care center owners and directors. I'm Noelle Dentino, ex-corporate girl turned child care center owner. I took my corporate skills, paired with my sister's early education background, to create easy-to-implement business practices that have made our center, Scribble Time, a huge raging success in our community. And now I'm here to share with you business tips and tools to help you build enrollment, find and hire your next grade teacher, and get your center operating just how you want it. Let's do this. Hey, my friends, it's Noelle from the Directors Club. And today I want to share with you something I figured out when I started as a director 18 years ago that has created a consistent environment at my center for the most part. It allows me to have the things improve each year. I believe this system keeps my waiting list full. And marketing, while it is a much needed thing, but the true secret to word of mouth marketing is the operation of your child care center. That's it. So before I started my center in 2005, I was manager of business administration for the corporate and investment bank of a very large financial institution in Boston. I worked for the character Meryl Streep played in Devil Wears Prada, and I am not kidding. I remember one day I managed her secretary, and I worked on the 11th floor, and they worked on the 32nd floor, and it took a ways to get up there. I had to go up one elevator bank, switch over floors to another elevator bank just to get there. And so I get this urgent call that I need to get up there immediately, and so I make this trek, and she's sitting in her office in front of a bowl of oatmeal, and that her secretary had just delivered to her from the cafeteria, like tough life. But my friend, she wanted grits. And so I needed to deal with this nightmare performance from the secretary because she had it and tried working with her. And it's done. She brought the grits. She brought the oatmeal instead of the grits. Hashtag true story. But I'm going to also admit, she was amazing to work for. I learned so much about business and appreciated the time that I spent with her and the team I worked with, as it helped me really create the foundation for my small business, Scribble Time, a center for early learning. The only thing I had to break was the habit of everything needed to be perfect, and have now since learned progress, not perfection. Plus, there were many laughs on how things needed to be done. The Devil Wears Prada resonates with me every single time I see it and every time I see Meryl Streep. Before my center even opened, I had an entire year to create all the policies and the procedures and work on the space. And partway through the year, my business partner and sister had graduated from college, and she worked full-time with me in there. And I knew we needed systems, and she had all the experience in early education. And so we were very fortunate to be able to set it up and create this solid foundation before we even started. And so we hit the ground running when the center opened, but the amount of work that it took to operate the center every day seriously hit me hard. How much work can one person do in a day with all the things? Imagine if you had to write down everything you did in a day as a child care center director. Like, we'd probably run out of ink. And if we sat and looked at the list, we would all probably have things like answering phones, emails with parents and business partners, paying bills, talking a teacher off a ledge, helping sick children, attendance, piles of paperwork, bathroom breaks, maybe covering lunches or two, grabbed stock for a classroom, dealt with a parent issue, made a deposit, answered a question, or maybe 1,000. Who knows? That's by lunch, and then we got to hit the ground running after rest. So the list just goes on and on. And when I get to the end of the day and we have completed this marathon list, like, how do you feel? Most of us will feel like it's the same day as yesterday. You feel as if nothing got done, but you did so much. The office looks the same, and you don't feel like you moved a project forward. And maybe now you're also feeling a little not inspired and overwhelmed with how the past 2 years have gone. I remember sitting at my desk for the first month 18 years ago when I opened my center with my sister, and I was like, coming from a corporate background, I knew how important finance is to leading a business. I hadn't had a second to look at the budget I had created or check the numbers as how we were doing a month in. I sat determined to do it one afternoon at 4 o'clock. And how smart of me as the new director to do this right when pickup started. Total rookie mistake. But needless to say, it didn't get done that day. It got done that night, during time I should have been with my family. And I didn't want to live like that. Determined to figure out how to get this one thing done, I reached into my delete. Determined to figure out how to get one thing done I wanted to get done during the day. I researched like what I could do. And I took from my experience at the corporate bank. And I decided to try setting boundaries with my team, blocking time for this, and adding in a business journal. And it worked. And by the end of the first week, I had my budget evaluated with potential revenue expenses. And like I said, I was new and had to watch it like a hawk, and sort of we all do, right? Delete. Sales are so important to us. And being in the field for the first time, this girl had no idea how to give a tour. This was 2005, and while I did put my child in childcare, I did family childcare, and I knew the person. So I didn't really know anything about childcare center operations. And so I had to research it a bit, and there wasn't a lot of stuff on the internet about it. And my sister had just graduated from college and hadn't really been in the role as a director at all. She had been a preschool lead teacher. So I didn't know what to say. And sometimes I knew at the end of tours, I kept saying to myself, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. So I used this same time management process with the budget that I did end up creating a tour, delete. So then I used the same process I did with the budget to get something done and ended up with a tour checklist that we still use today and evaluate to make sure it's working for the current environment. I took my process of getting things done into everything I did at the center, and I felt less overwhelmed and more inspired and ahead of the game. For me, when I'm working on a new project, it energizes me. I get inspired to finish, apply it at the center, and I get so inspired to see the benefit it's going to give the children, teachers, or parents. All right, so I don't get inspired when I'm working on the project of taxes, but how many people do? But think about it. You ever wanted to introduce an art show, a mom and me breakfast, a dad and me breakfast, improve the enrollment process, or improve the employee experience? About 8 years ago, into owning the center, delete. About 8 years into owning my center, I was consulting with a childcare center in another state, and they were struggling with marketing and hiring. So equipped with my best marketing ideas and interview process, I headed to the center to find that wasn't really the problem. Staff turnover was high, bad reviews on a hiring platform about the unorganized director. And due to all this, the parents didn't like to stay. I was fortunate enough to see the chaos in action. I watched a brand new hire start her day, and she walked into the center, went to the office where the director was so disorganized getting things started and complaining about a parent. She ended up saying to her, go into this classroom and I'll find you later. And 3 hours later, when I was about to leave, she never went and checked on her. But I bet she did after I pointed it out right before I left. And while this director was extremely in need of help, and I'll tell you, she did get it and has since sold her center and retired, and things got better for her when she put systems in place. But many of you are not in this extreme case, or you know what, maybe you are, and that's okay. That's why I'm here to share what I want to share with you. We come into our centers every single day, and we can easily get caught up in, let's call them all the things. The questions, the toilet's backing up, everything. The minutes go by so fast, and we've realized it's too late to dig into something, or we'll just say we don't have time to do it. You do have time. You have 24 hours in the day to get things done for yourself personally and professionally, and you have to dictate what those 24 hours look like. And I know before you can say, oh, Noelle, you really, director, I'm in the classroom, I'm covering this, I'm going to tell you I am too. Believe me, I know that there will be days when something comes up that you end up in the classroom all day, or an illness is going to go through the school, and every few minutes you're helping a sick child, calling parents, picking up puke, disinfecting, and repeat. Though we have those days. But there is still time to move a project forward if you're intentional, and I'm excited to show you how. We think back to the center I was consulting with. She had issues with enrollment and staffing. Imagine if she took the system I used and put in place an employee onboarding system, which she did. First, she knows the mornings are crazy for her. She starts the new hire's day off with a mentor now, and one of the seasoned teachers welcomes her and takes that off her plate. And that person spends a day training this new employee and building a relationship with her. So the new scenario puts the teacher feeling welcomed, puts the seasoned teacher getting leadership experience, and leaves the director feeling so much better. The chances of retaining this new employee increase, as does the seasoned teacher. The teacher who welcomed her, she felt that leadership and that connection. Delete, go back to imagine. Imagine if she took the system I used and put in place an employee onboarding system. First, she knows the mornings are crazy for her, so she maybe starts the day off with this new hire with a mentor. She picks one of the seasoned teachers that she has, welcome this new employee, and that comes off the director's plate, and then puts a good focus on this new employee, pairing her up with a mentor, a new friend in the company, like she has someone, she's connecting with someone. This new scenario puts that teacher feeling welcomed, feeling like she has a place and that she belongs. The chances of retaining her increase. The teacher who welcomed her feels a sense of leadership, a connection with the new teacher. This creates retention strategy. And now you as the director feels like you don't have that weight on you today of making sure this person feels right and making sure she gets training and doing all the things. Things begin to change when we take time to plan things out. Your projects don't have to be life-altering massive changes. They can be as simple as a tour checklist and review it and update it if you have one. How to figure out the chaotic morning. A closing checklist to reduce pickup chaos and maybe keep a few parents who are sick of dealing with the madhouse. The operation of your center is critical, and you can fix just about anything with a system and supportive training. I named my system Get It Done. It's a process I use to help me finally get stuff done while I run the center. So on Tuesday, March 22nd at 2:00 p.m., I'm going to teach the class the Get It Done workshop. You name the it, and I'm going to teach you how to find time, and even when you feel like there's none, I'm going to show you one simple trick I use to move projects forward faster. All you need is to enroll in the class, no cost, right when you enroll, a website's is going to pop up, and it's going to have a link to the Facebook group. That's where I'm going to teach the class Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week, 2:00 p.m. All you need to do is show up and bring a notebook. That's it. And if you cannot come at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, no worries, because in a Facebook group, it records everything. So later in the day, I want you to mark on your calendar whatever time you can be free. And I want you to mark on that calendar, get it done 6 p.m., whatever time. And I want you to go in the group and I want you to rewatch the video for the day. And at the end of the video, I'm probably going to ask you to do something. And I want you to listen to that because it's really going to help you. This class is going to change things for you. It's going to implement those awesome ideas you get from professional development. Fix the issues you have at your center. Get you on top of the paperwork. It's going to inspire you because it works. I want you to go in the show notes and get that link to sign yourself up. can also, I posted it on my book page, The Directors Club, and the link is in there as well too. So I love sharing my Get It Done system because it works. And I love when I teach this class because there's so much energy in it. And I love seeing the people saying, this is so easy. I didn't realize I could do this, because it works and you're going to love it. And I'm excited to share it with you. So I want to thank you for listening. And I'm so excited if you join me from this podcast into this Get It Done challenge and meet me in the Facebook group, because I know I can help you feeling less overwhelmed and give you some inspiration this year. You're going to inspire yourself, and that's going to be amazing. You need to tell me when you get in the group. Tag me, write a post and say I'm here so I know you're from the podcast, because I love this podcast because I'm getting so many emails from you, and I can't tell you how much those mean to me. When I get an email, I know how busy you are. And some of you are just saying, Noelle, like, this podcast really helped me, or I'm working on this podcast. How do I move this forward? Like, I'm stuck here. I know, one, how busy you are, so that you took the time to email me. I appreciate it. And I love knowing that this podcast is helping you. So I would love to connect with you in virtual person in the Facebook group. So don't forget to say hi to me. Have an awesome week, and I'm cheering you on from Massachusetts. Have an awesome day. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you know another director who might benefit from listening, please share the link to my podcast. I love connecting with directors and sharing business tips to make their lives easier too. The show notes below have all the links from the podcast and my social media connections. I'd love you to tell me how I'm doing by rating the show or leaving a comment. Hope you have a great week. I'll be cheering you on. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of The Directors Club. We hope you found tips, tools, and strategies valuable for your childcare center. To access even more resources and take your center to new heights, visit our website at thedirectorsclub.net. There you'll find a wealth of exclusive content, training programs, and support tailored specifically to childcare center owners and directors. Don't miss out on this opportunity to unlock your center's full potential. Remember, success starts here at The Directors Club.